Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We are going to start episode or part 29, and we're going to be doing the wiring. And first, we're going to be starting in on the inverter, and that's what I've been doing. I've just hooked up a couple wires to it, and I'm going to share that with you. Okay, I'm going to get this phone flipped around, and I'll show it to you. Okay, give me a second. Okay, here we are. I've hooked up the wires to the inverter, and I use the factory bolts that came with the inverter itself. And real important that this is pretty basic for most people, but some people don't know. Black goes on negative. That's the negative mark right there, minus. Red, positive. Positive mark, plus. Okay, I've got my inline fuse here, and this is a 150 amp fuse made by Windy Nation, same person that makes this inverter. And here's the business end of the wire. This is going to be hooked up to, see that wire right there? It's going to be hooked right there to that terminal. And I'm only going to hook the red up to this, and that will turn off and on the hot wire, which is the power wire. And right here is my negative wire. And my negative wire is going to be hooked to the chassis of the vehicle, which is, see that bar right back in there? I don't know if you can see that very good, but there's a bolt right here. And I'm going to hook it to that bolt. This rail actually is welded right down to the chassis of the vehicle, so it'll ground it out really nicely. I've done that before on 2 other vans. Never had a problem in the world with it. And that's where I'm at right now. I unmounted this so you guys could see it, and it goes on those 2 screws right there. I'm going to go ahead and mount it back up, mount that to the wall. I'm going to mount that to the wall, hook the power wire up to it, and also get my ground in there. I'm going to put my ground in before I put it back up on the wall so I have more room. And it's going to be a little tight in there. I'm going to have to probably turn this off and just do it, because I'm not going to be able to film that. So I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay guys, I got it basically wired in. I've got the fuse in place. I've got the wires connected here for the hot on the switch, and I've got the ground going. It's hard to see it, but anyway, it goes back there. Right there. You can see that. If I turn it this way, you can. See it's on that bolt back there? That's bolted to the frame. And there's my little switch. And when you flip the switch, we have it on. It's showing 12.2 volts. Looks like I need to put a charger on my battery. But anyway, you can just flip the switch here, and off it goes. This is cool. I like it. And if you want to cut off the master supply, you just turn that like that, take the key out, and it's locked off where nobody can turn it on no matter what. Well, that's a little bit of progress anyway. I'll get back with you guys in a minute. Okay guys, I'm back with you. I made a little progress here. This here is a Blue Sea fuse panel. The top half of this is the negative bus right here. This is the negative wire coming in the top. And the bottom here, these are all hot leads right here. And this is where the hot wire comes in. It goes over to this breaker. Then it runs back down to the battery wire. See how they split here and this one comes up? They run them together. And I have it down here, just laying here, right there. I'm going to tie that into the other hot and the ground, and that should complete that. I did mount that up the off switch, the emergency cutoff switch, and I kind of cleaned the wires up a little bit. Haven't done too much here. What I've got on this panel is there's two leads in here. There's one here and one here. I guess the panel's split and half of it on each side. But anyway, these both go down. I'm going to put them on their own. It's a 15 amp fuse in here right now, but I'm going to put them on 20 amp each right there. And that way I'll have 4 circuits here on 20 amps and another 4 circuits on 20 amps. Now this thing has breakers on the built-in breakers too. So it's kind of like a redundancy there, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Yeah, it has resettable breakers for each circuit that's built onto the outside of that switch panel. And it's like if it pops off, you just push it back in. It's got a little rubber covered bumper button on it. And sorry for the shaking. And well, that's where I'm at right now. And this black here, this is a ground. That'll come into the top of this bus right here. I'm going to have to put an extension on the wire, come into the top of the bus. And these 2 red ones will come into 2 circuits right here and here. And I'll change that fuse out to a 20. Okay, that's where I'm at right now. I don't have too much for you. Oh, there is one other thing. I put the panel up there, the vent, and that's what it looks like from the inside now. And it's got a screen on there to keep the bugs out. Okay, I'll catch you guys in a little bit then. Okay guys, I've got all the main wiring hooked up to the switch. These are the 2 hots here. They go up to the red hot wires. And this is the black wire right here. This is the ground. It comes down to the ground bus. Like I said before, this is ground here and this is hot down here on both sides. You can run that many circuits off of this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 12 circuit panel. So that's pretty cool. We got all this in place now, and I was working down below here a little bit, and I put the ends on the wires with the new crimping tool, and worked out pretty good. I always red tape the red ones and black tape the black one. If I happen to use a different color wire by chance, like I did up here, see I used a brown wire because it was the only one I had of that size. That's a 12 gauge wire. I wrapped it in red, and I wrapped it up here in red too. And I wrapped it up here in red, so you know it's a hot wire. But anyway, I'll show you how this little tool works. It worked out pretty good. Hang on, and I'm going to have to put you on the stand there to hold this steady while I do it. Okay guys, there's the tool there. And this is what I'm going to be crimping. What you do is you strip back just enough that this fits over where it comes up against that. Then you lift up this little handle here and you set this in here like that. And I told you guys I was going to read the instructions on this. Well, there wasn't any. So that's a little odd. But what I did here is I just kept it like that and held that in place, and I think it needs another one. Okay, so there it is, crimped down. So since this was going to be a hot, I would generally just take some tape and wrap it around it like this. You know, a lot of people use shrink wrap, but all my shrink wrap is for small stuff. So this red vinyl tape is going to work just fine. It's electrical tape. Okay, so that's all I have for you now. So I'll catch you tomorrow then. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Well, hello everybody. we've got lights going in now. I've put one here. There was some holes in the roof there where the old rail used to be in. That was like this one, that rail. So I covered it up with that light, make it look a little cleaner. But that's right above the Murphy bed here. And you can see the wires there. I'm going to run a conduit behind this here where you can't see it and wire that into the switch panel over there. And I'm also working on the bathroom. I've taken that light out right there. Sorry about the shadow, guys. And I'm going to pull this down. You can see I've got my screwdriver tip there. It got stuck. And I'm going to pull the hot wire from this down to here. And I'm going to put one of those lights in right there. And it'll have an off and on switch for so you can go in the bathroom and turn it off and on if you want to without going to the main panel. And so I'm going to get busy doing that. And there's Mr. Whiny. Hi, Rubes. What you doing? Kind of twitchy, aren't you? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him today. Okay, so I'm going to get doing that. He just got under my feet again. I almost stepped on him. And I'll catch you guys in a minute. Okay, guys, I ran into some trouble. I've been trying to fish this stiff wire through this hole here so I could run it down and pick up my new wire from that hole and bring it up. And so I could put this light in over here, right here over top of that hole. I'm going to have to put that factory light back in and hook it back up because I can't get through there. This corner right here is completely sealed. I can't fish a wire through it. So, sorry for the lighting, guys. Plan B is to put a light over here on the wall. And, I don't know. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. I can't seem to get this back. So I'm going to put that factory light back in there, put the ring back on. It's still, I got to rewire it now because I tore my wiring apart. All right, well, sometimes it just goes this way. I'll catch you guys in a couple minutes. Somebody's worn himself out, hasn't he? He's sleeping as I'm working. I have got that light back in and the fan's back in now. So, and speaking of that fan, I've made a decision. I'm going to take that speaker grill out right there and I'm going to put a fan in right there because if you look down you're right above the stove and the sink, and I decided to go ahead and do that. You know, I don't really even care if it's that close to the vent. What if I don't open the vent? At least I got some ventilation here if I'm cooking. So you know, if it's raining outside or something like that. So at least that decision's been made. Well, I've kind of went backwards a little bit here, so I'm going to have to get busy and keep on going here.